He's down on his luck, his pockets are near empty. He's sleeping in his truck. The rodeo next Friday, his bills are past due. How he'll pay for entries, he ain't got a clue. He's a cowboy, it's his turn to ride. He prays for 8 seconds when they shout outside. His future is uncertain, his past he can't forget. He's just a hard luck cowboy, life hasn't broken yet. Oh,
welcome back to the horsemanship. I know it's been a long time, but with life, weather, and Cindy having to have a real job.
And calculus.
Huh?
And calculus.
And, oh yeah, and calculus. She just finished calculus, and I didn't go through it. And that's one of the hardest classes I've ever been through, and I didn't have just watching her go through it. But anyway, we got a 3-year-old Andalusian stud here. He's one that went to a wolf trap and evaluated a couple months ago. And now he's here, and I'm going to go through the process and talk about how we had technical difficulty here. So anyway, we got a 3-year-old Andalusian stud here. He's going to be a big boy. And right now he's all over the place physically. I mean, it's like riding a rubber band, and it's going to be like that for a little while because he's hit a little bit of growth spurt while he's here. So as I was saying, I'm going to go through everything that I start before that first real ride, and I'll get further what I look for before I really get asking moving their feet. And you know, most people get them in here at first and run them around the round pen, you know, when they first starting them. But the first thing I always do, and as I say, you know, I want to get softness, I want to create softness, I want him on the bend. So I get that by moving that hip. Now, when he first started, he wouldn't be bending like that. Now, what I would do when I first start, some people would pull on his face, but right there, if he pulls on my hand, I'll move that hip, because when he moves that hip away from me, he's going to bend just like that. That was pretty. And a lot of people say, well, my horse moves his hip too fast. Well, you just stay at it until they slow down. There, good boy. And then with him, I did ground drive him somewhat. Number one, Ray at Wolf Trap Farms, he's, you know, he's like me. He's been a client of mine for God knows how many years. On and off. But he's on the same premise I am. He's about a foundation. So, and yes, I got horses right here, and he's a stud, and I got horses right here on the outside of the round pen, because he's got to learn how to handle the situation. You know, that's the bad thing with studs. You know, they hide them, and he's stalled up where it's safe, but he can see the horse next to him. He can interact the horse next to him, and everything else. Now, a lot of this, he's got a nice temperament, because right there, if I take any pressure off of him, and I didn't get this running him around, you know, that if I'm setting his head or something before I ride him, I'll move him out. Or if I got an aggressive horse, I'll get on one of my horses and move him out. But if I'm moving a horse around in a circle, I'm doing it for a training reason, not to wear him down. And like right now, I can use it for a judgment call with him. He's really on me. I point, he goes. If I make myself bigger like that, he goes. You know, all this crap where these people overindulge their movements, you don't have to do that. I mean, especially when you're starting horses, you're going to have more calm horse and relax. You know, that's all I got to do. I just opened my space up and pushed him away. And any horse, even aggressive horses, if you work with this, that's the way it should be done. You don't have to do the exaggerated movements. Like right there, did I bend over and look at his hip? No, I went in neutral. Yep. And he disengaged. Because I want him so focused on me, if I go in neutral like that, and you know, when I'm starting a horse, the one that's not messed up in the head by anybody else, it makes for an easier first few rides. So I'm going to try to cover a lot of territory, because a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about him can carry over to horses that's already riding and that's got hard to the bit or whatever issues. So like I said, I ground drove him for a little bit, and I don't have my driving lot, both of them here right now. But what I did, when I turned him, I actually used the rail to help turn him at first, because he's not a driving horse. I don't want him to learn to be stiff and turn. And a lot of times with ground driving, if you don't really flex them while you're doing it, that's what you get. So that's why in the old timers you had two horses. You had your riding horses and your driving horses, because your driving horse is always stiffer. So I used the rail to encourage him to flex that head and bend and then go. I wanted to, because my way of thinking, I want to get this, before I get on this horse for the first time, I want to get this mouth developed as much as possible. And I want him to get used to that bit. Then we go back to the old-fashioned, you know, pull and release. Right there, he gave me some soft, finally gave me some softness. Then I'll release it. And also, you know, the flexing exercises, they benefit you too, because they'll tell you, like right here, if you notice to the left right there, he gave to me sooner than, easier than he did to the right. Then when I ask him to get on the vertical, he gives it to me, I release. He gives it to me, I relieve. Now on baby give stuff, to me, he's already passed it, even though I haven't really asked him to move his feet out yet. He's past it. So now what I do, I'll start asking him to hold it for a little bit. There, good boy. And now, and a lot of this stuff will help me, like I said, judge when I first get on him. Like I'm gonna ask him, I'm gonna flex him, and I'm gonna use this, my thumb's gonna be my heel. I'm gonna flex, and I'm gonna tap. Not jab, tap. And right there, when he moves, I quit tapping. Good boy. And I'll start tapping lightly. Then I'll increase my pressure if he doesn't move. And what this tell me from the saddle. There. And right then I did kiss at him a little bit to help encourage it. Because I want to set him up to succeed. But what did that tell me? If I got a horse that's overreactive to the leg, they're going to move around real fast at first. If I got a horse dead, thick-skinned, I'm going to have to, really tap harder. So there, good boy. And also what I'm doing, I'm encouraging him to bend that rib cage since he's flexing. Good boy. There you go. And you're wondering, how long will I do it? With them, it won't be long, because, if I can just do that and just tap a couple of times, maybe kiss at them and they move, that's good. Flex them. Right there, that was one tap, and he moved. In other words, basically, I'm riding him from the ground. Everybody's got videos where you put 1 foot at a time and step up, step up, step up. And you notice right there when he backed off, I didn't move away from, I didn't step down from the mountain block. Because if I retreated completely when he moved, I'm going to reward him for moving. So basically what I've done, like I said, is just work both sides, got him where I can get over top of him. So I'm going to pick up my inside rein a little bit. So I got a little pressure on here. Now I have been on him a couple of times, and all I've done, just like he did on the ground, I'm going to pick up his nose. If he decides to move, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to pick up his nose, flex him. I'm going to get him on a vertical. When I was younger, I used to think I had to walk, trot, and lope these horses real quick. But I've really... So now I'm going to pick up his nose. Right there, I'm moving his hip. And I haven't asked him to move his feet out, like I said at the start. But as I started to say, I got sidetracked real quick. That's what happens when you get over 50. Or, no, that's what happens when you get over 40. But anyhow, I used to be one, just like everybody else, thought right off the bat I had to walk, trot, and lope these horses, damn it. I gotta show what I can do. Well, especially a horse like this who doesn't have no bad habits. The best thing I can do is stand up here these first couple times I get on him, flex him, let him know that I get that. I get that vertical, because with him, especially when he gets working, he's all over. He's a string bean, so I'm gonna have to teach him how to use that hind end. Now right there I gave him a little leg. That's where helping him, even me on the ground, tapping him to move that hip. I've put the wall up, tap with my legs. He shifts back a little bit. I'll go backwards a lot at first, more than I will forward. Tap, tap, tap. Right there, he's pulling my hands a little bit. So we're going to pick up. I'm going to tap my leg. And we walk out. We're going to pick up. These first few real rides, I'm going to really get into him controlling his feet. I'll reach down there, pull to my belly button, put my leg on him, move that hip, and we move out. Pick up, ask him to move that hip, and then walk out. And I'm gonna really rein him. In other words, if I pick up to the right, look to the right, I expect him to go to the right. If I picked up to the left, right there he didn't go to the left. So I'm going to pick up his nose, I'm going to disengage that hip, say, hey, I'm going to the left. I don't want to have to pull him, I want to just touch that. Right there, he's pulling on my hand, I'm going to pick up, disengage that hip, then go again. Right there, I asked to go to the right, he did good. Now later on I'll start finished touching my leg cues. But right now I want him to rein. Right there he's got stiff. So move that hip, then we walk out. Right there he wanted to trot, so I left him alone. It's a nice little controlled trot, so I'm going to let him go. Now when I stop him, I'm going to slowly pick up, disengage, come around, and bingo. I'm not going to pull on both hands right yet to stop him.
I have a question when you have to stop him.
Pardon?
I have a question. When he does something wrong and you disengage his hip, is that punishment or reinforcement? What's happening when you do that?
That's...
Repeat the question.
That's a lot of people probably, in case y'all didn't hear it. Cindy asked me, when he does something, when I disengage that hip, is it punishment or what? No, it's me getting rid of that, depends on what it's coming from. Like Todd's horse, I got him disengaged because that horse is a butthole and he don't want to move his feet. So in that case, It's not a punishment, but it's a nice, non-invasive way to say, I'm going to control your feet. And same way with him. When he gets stupid, I can pick up, and it's not a punishment. I get rid of that power, and also I'm telling him, I'm going to control your feet. When I say go this way, I want you to go this way. If I want you to go that way, I want you to go that way. If I want to stop, because that, you know, to me that's a lot better than me, like right there when he was trotting. You know, that's our first trot together. So it wouldn't be fair for me to grab his mouth and ask for a stop yet. So I slow with him being all over the place because his, you know, his long, immature legs, because right now he's a string bean. You know, I just slowly pull him around and disengage. And I'll kiss at him a little bit when I'm using my legs at this point. You know, I'm not a talker when I'm riding my horses. I prefer to just use my body to let him go. But right there, I picked up. He didn't want to move, we just disengage. And you're going to see me disengage him fast, pretty quick when I do it. Because if I baby him and say, you know, come on, poor little boy, he's not going to get the point. But if I get in there, say, hey, I mean, move. And I'm not being cruel to him. And like I said, these first few rides, you know, that's what I want to concentrate on. There we go. That was nice. Now that time he followed that, he felt that feel. He went with the feel. Not as much as I like, but also I'm not going to henpeck him. Now I watched the gal ride a horse that only had a couple rides on it, trying to use her leg to get it on the rail and this and that. And I'm thinking the horse only had about 5 rides on it, so why the hell are you doing that? And it's funny, that type of person giving clinics and all that to big horse fairs when she don't have no business doing it. So that's all we're going to work on. Now I asked for that trot. So when I come down, I'm going to reach down, slowly bend him to a one-rein stop and move that hip. And I'll go back and forth, you know. I won't every time push him out of that after I move that hip. You know, sometimes like I did right then, you know, I brought him down to a stop. Because I don't want to set it up where I end up, you know, him wanting to walk through a stop when I start bringing my hands. Now right now he's walking, he's extending the walk. I will put my feet forward. I'll put that wall up. Use my legs to encourage him to go backwards. We don't care right now if it's straight. Now when I'm working his mouth to get him over the rail, it might look like I'm steady pulling, but no, I'm pulling, release, pull and release, pull and release. I want to ask for a stop, put my feet forward. Now I grab his mouth, rock him back. One more rock. There we go. Now next time I ride him, if it goes as well as it did today, number one, I'll be on him sooner than I was today because I'm not talking to the camera. I'll just, from the ground, I'll flex him from side to side, ask for the vertical, and then I'll probably get on him. So that day, we'll probably lope. I'm going to let him have his head. I'm not going to block him right now. Not at this stage. I want him to feel out he can move out. Me up here. Then I'm going to put my feet forward, ask for a stop. That time I use 2 hands because I just want him to feel that sensation. Now I'll go back and use 1 rein at a time. So I just picked up that 1 rein. Move that hip. Move that hip. And then we stand. Now we trot out. Good boy. So we pick up that rein. Trot out. Like I said, I really want him to know I'm going to control his feet. Pick up the rein, move that hip, trot out. Ask for a stop. I'm going to put my feet forward, move my other field back. There, okay. Like I say, he's only a 3-year-old and he's lengthy and he just hit a growing spurt, so it'd be real easy right now to really get carried away and push him a little bit harder, but then I'd have a sore horse because he's, you know, not many of us can remember our teen years, but once in a while we'd be little joints would hurt because we're growing real quick. But the main thing I like to point out here is most important before you really get the feet, develop a mouth. And it don't have to be super like a reining horse, but be able to let that horse know when you grab, they come in. And he'll get softer and softer. And, you know, really get him on that vertical too. But once you get in the saddle, don't think about walk, trot, and loping. Think about controlling the hip, controlling the feet, and get them horses going where you ask first. And if you go through the stages I just did, I could canter him today with no problem. But I'm not going to because, like I said, of his age and everything else. And my theory is that this has been a good almost an hour, and I'm not going to take any chances of anything go wrong, which it probably wouldn't. But my job is to benefit the horse and the owner. So anyways, break it down in steps, and don't worry about getting in a hurry and going to the next step. But on the flip side too, a lot of people use that for excuse not to go to the next step. So I hope y'all get something with this. And this, yes, honey, I knew you were thinking of something.
With him being a stud, are you training him any differently than you would a mare or a gelding?
No. Only time once he,
Repeat the question. I don't know if anybody heard it.
that's a no question with exception to it. Okay? Right, his basic training, the fundamental training is the same. Now, when I get a few more rides on him, if he starts talking where I taught him to move that hip, I'm going to move that hip.
So I saw something on Facebook where somebody said, well, if he doesn't get too steady, we're going to keep him a stud. That's a cop-out, isn't it? That means they haven't...
Well, to me...
Repeat it in case I don't know if it's picking up.
All right, what Cindy says, she saw on Facebook where it said, if you don't get too steady, I'm going to keep him. And to her, it's a cop-out. This is, the key thing is that if they get too steady, we'll guilt them. Well, right there tells me, and if they see this, I don't care. Right there, they don't have no business owning the stud. Because, yes, studs are going to be studs at times. And I don't care how good training you got, you always got to remember you got a stud. Now, right here from the get-go, the first day when I took him out of the barn, he got studied. Second day, you know, our hallway is only 12 foot. I wish it was 16, but so y'all out there, if you build a barn, build a 6-foot hallway. But I got after his hip. I said, shut up. You know, I am the stud here. You're not. You know, you're below me. So when you got that halter saddle on, you're going to be quiet. And a fine example of that, you know, Smokey, when he was a stud, Brave Eagle, you know, Scout, going back when I was 13, he was the same way. I could put him in front to back trailer with a mare in front of him and he wouldn't mount him. You know, so right there, I'm a 13-year-old. So it's how you handle them, and brings up the case earlier. If you hide, more you hide these studs, the more steady they're going to be. Because when they come out, they're just going to be right our hormones. Where him, I expect him to toe the line. And now, and you see me, you've asked me how come I'm harder on Brave Eagle, because he knows. And he's a stud. If I'm too laxy-daisy on him, he's going to hurt me. Or he's going to hurt himself. Or hurt somebody else. So as long as I stay on top of it, and it's just a quick, you know, you see me, it's just... But yeah, when I do handle studs after a certain point, I expect them to toe the line. And you know, I'm no BS on it. They got to, boom, sit right there. Because I want, like when I did the Alabama Horse Fair, this guy, he had a mare who was in full-blown season. And I side passed Brave Eagle within that far, and I was going to go all the way and touch side to side and show how good Brave Eagle was, not even, you know, getting excited or nothing. But that mare was about ready to eat Brave Eagle up. So I was like, oh. And I told the audience, the main reason I'm coming off this mare, because she's about ready to bite and kick me. But, you know, with the proper handling, you can enjoy them and everything. Good boy. And have just as good time as you can any other horse. You just always got to remember that they are a stud. So you can't, you know, get lazy. So with that said, that was a nice video. I mean, it came out real good. Even the guy shot one time. And bring that up, I was going to keep going filming, no matter what was happening over there. So, I hope y'all get something out of this. And to my kids, and I always say, be true to the horse, they'll be true to you. Somebody else is sort of rephrasing that, which sort of tickles me. So, it's just people, guys out there who's on television and all, when you use my stuff, just say, hey, throw my name out there, would you please? So, but the way I say it, be true to the horse and they'll be true to you. And first and foremost, and believe me, I know it's a hard damn thing to do. Be true to yourself. I wonder what Cindy's gawking about.
He had the reins in his mouth.
Oh, well, he is a 3-year-old stud, so he's going to be mouthy. To my kids, grandkids, and special person behind the camera, watch Jay Lay, KNA, God bless, and take care.